The following stories are inspired by documented paranormal encounters. Some locations and identities may have been changed to protect the people involved. These stories may be disturbing for younger audiences, and listener discretion is advised. This podcast is based on true events.
Hi, I'm Dalia, she, they.
Hi, I'm Brandon, he, him.
Hey, I'm B, she, they.
And this podcast is based on true events. I started that off wanting to go a lot faster than we ended up going. I was like, oh, pump the brakes.
Vibe checks. How we doing?
Yeah, we're getting really late in the day, and we're finally on the last episode of this specific recording session. So,
not that we don't love talking to each other and y'all, but it's time to go.
Yeah. So, vibe check. I'm good. I'm excited for this episode, actually.
I'm also excited for this episode. I really enjoyed the story that I've brought to the table today. I'm really glad that it is for Dalia's birthday.
Oh. Yeah.
Her birthday episode. And I think that they're really going to enjoy it.
My birthday is November 11th, so it's not quite my birthday.
So when this comes out,
but it's close.
It'll be the 9th when this comes out.
Close enough.
So it'll be your birthday in 2 days. And then next week, my birthday episode will come the day after my birthday.
Hell yeah.
So, nice. All right. We're not too far off at all. But how you feeling? You think this is going to be a good birthday?
Oh, it's going to be an awesome birthday.
Hell
I'm
yeah.
fucking married.
We're going to be married on our birthday.
Yeah, I'm going to be married on my birthday. It's going to be amazing.
Hell yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Hopefully I'm having ice cream.
You will be having
today and on my birthday.
I'll make sure you're having ice cream.
Okay.
I do have a couple plans of what I want to do for your birthday. So.
Oh, okay.
At the very least, I have something I know I want to get for you.
Okay.
Like as a little treat, you know. I know, but it's like a little treat.
Busy couple months. So.
Yeah, we have been pretty busy, haven't we?
Mm-hmm.
Well,
okay. How is everybody else feeling? Did you already give vibe checks?
Yep.
Did I?
You did. You were first, I think.
Yeah, you were excited for this episode, I think you said.
All right, I guess I did.
I think you both said the same thing, and then B mentioned my birthday.
B went first, I think.
I don't know.
How are you, Brandon?
I'm good. No, I am excited for this episode, though. Do we just want to get right into it, then?
Yeah. Fuck
cool.
it.
So for Dalia's episode, unlike being a surprise and we were just like, let's just do Mothman, we know B loves Mothman. For Dalia's episode, I was like, hey, what is a haunted story or a scary story, a ghost story that's true that you want to know more about? And so we have this. We have what I'm about to say. In 1973, the movie The Exorcist, based on the novel by William Peter Blatty, became one of the most profitable horror movies in history. The film scared patrons so much that the Catholic Church actually saw an uptick of people in attendance, wondering if they themselves were in need of an exorcism. But did you know that the story for the novel and the film was loosely based off of real-life events? Events that William Peter Blatty was allegedly given info on that inspired him writing the original book in the first place. And now in recent years, a diary once kept secret was unearthed that contained first-hand accounts and details about the original case. So, as told by the show, kind of not a show, I think it was originally Shock Docs. But I'm just going to call this story what the story is originally called. This is The Exorcism of Roland Doe. Early January 1949. Cottage City, Maryland. Anyone who knew the 13-year-old referred to only as Roland Doe in the accounts would describe him as a sort of troublesome child. His classmates wouldn't describe him as a bad student really, just super hyper with a lot of trouble focusing. Roland has an aunt in St. Louis named Tilly, who he grows really close to. Tilly dabbles in spiritualism and actually introduces Roland to a little board game called the Ouija board. She tells Roland that through this board, they would be able to communicate with the dead. On January 15th, Roland's mother starts to complain of hearing the sounds of scratching in the walls all around their home. In response to this, Roland's father gets an exterminator to come out thinking that they might have rats, but the exterminator finds no signs of any kind of infestation. The parents' next conclusion is that Roland might be doing it somehow as a way to get attention. On January 26th, 11 days after the first scratching sounds had occurred, the family received devastating news. Roland's Aunt Tilly had passed away. One night soon after, Roland's mother is tucking him into bed when they both start suddenly hearing a cacophony of noises coming from all around them. Knocks and bangs on every wall, the sound of what was described as a troop of soldiers marching towards Roland's bed. They were terrified, rightfully so. Roland's mother calls out asking, "Tilly, if that's you, knock 3 times." And according to the records, they got 3 distinct knocks in response. They now start to think that maybe it's Aunt Tilly paying some type of visitation, but if it's really Roland's beloved aunt, why in this way? From that night, they reported a number of things happening in the house. They would watch dishes fly across the room, chairs spinning in place when no one was in them. Every night when Roland would go to bed, things would start out quiet, but as Roland would start to close his eyes, his bed would start to shake violently, with the bed frame actually be jumping up and down with the headboard slamming into the wall, that violently.
Damn.
Roland would also start waking up in the middle of the night, thrashing around and screaming in a voice that was notably not his own, a voice that barely sounded human at all. Years later, the people in the neighborhood would even give accounts to hearing all the banging and screaming that was going on in the house. They just thought at that time that something was wrong with the kid. Roland's classmates would also give accounts about things that would happen while Roland was at school. Books and papers were seen flying across the room from his desk, and the desk even itself actually was seen moving at one point. Almost like it was just vibrating across the floor. Of course, given Roland's track record, the teachers just blamed him for doing all of it, no matter how much he swore that he wasn't. Roland eventually stops going to school. Worried about his health, Roland's parents take him to a hospital fearing that his nightly fits may have been due to some kind of health problems like epilepsy. However, the medical doctor could find nothing wrong with the child. The parents then take Roland to a psychiatrist. Maybe the health issues were mental rather than physical. Once again, though, they could not find anything wrong with him. Next up, they went to a psychologist. Nothing once again. They found Roland to be a, quote, normal but high-strung boy. When consulting doctors yielded no results, the couple turned to their minister, Reverend Luther Miles Schulz, the pastor at St. Stephen's Evangelical Lutheran Church, and hoped to get some kind of answers. Reverend Schulz wondered if the boy was being plagued by a poltergeist of some sort. Wanting to find out, first, if the happenings were solely attached to the home or if they were attached to Roland himself, Schulz comes up with the idea for Roland to stay over at his house for the night. On the night of February 17th, 1949, with Schulz's wife sleeping out on the sofa, Roland and Schulz lay down in 2 separate beds that were in the Reverend's room. The instant Schulz turned off his bedside lamp, the bed that Roland was in started shaking violently. Reverend Schulz turns back on the lamp and observes the bed shaking for a bit, trying to figure out if it was a prank or not of some kind. Finding that there was no way that Roland could be doing it on his own, the Reverend has the idea to have Roland sleep in the armchair on the other side of the room. However, no sooner had things calmed down that the chair now started to shake and spin violently. So violently, in fact, that it actually ends up tipping over and dumping Roland out on the floor. Reverend Schulz then tries having Roland sleep on a mattress next to his bed on the floor, and this time, the mattress starts sliding around on the floor and even slides under the bed, bouncing and smashing Roland's face on the bed springs. After returning home the next day, Roland's condition takes a terrifying turn. For 4 consecutive nights in a row, 3 side-by-side scratches would appear on Roland's body. Reverend Schulz no longer thinks that they are dealing with a poltergeist and encourages the family to seek help from the Catholic Church, believing that this situation is far beyond what he is able to deal with. Roland's parents take him to see Father Albert Hughes, an assistant priest at St. James Catholic Church. Father Hughes reports the temperature in the room suddenly becoming cold during the meeting, of Roland, as well as seeing his telephone slide across his desk. Father Hughes also reported Roland saying to him at one point, quote, "Why bother me, you priest of hell?" After observing Roland's behavior, Father Hughes becomes convinced that the boy is in fact possessed. According to sources, Father Hughes contacts Archbishop Patrick O'Boyle. Father Hughes contacts Archbishop Patrick O'Boyle of Washington, D.C., who very reluctantly agrees that Roland might need an exorcism. Sometime between February 27th and March 6th, Father Hughes reportedly admits Roland to Georgetown Hospital in Washington, D.C. under an assumed name. With Roland strapped down to a bed in the psychiatric ward, Father Hughes starts to perform the exorcism. However, according to an eyewitness report, soon after starting to read the prayers, Roland slips out of one of his restraints and slices Father Hughes' arm wide open, shoulder to wrist, with a bed spring that he had apparently taken out of the bed he had been strapped to.
Damn.
The laceration required 100 stitches.
Oh my god.
Jeez.
People who knew Father Hughes say that after this, he was never the same and would often have issues with his arm from then on.
What the hell did he scratch him with?
A bed spring.
Oh,
He sliced his arm open, yeah.
I heard you say that, but I didn't process it. I'm so sorry.
You're good,
Please
you're
continue.
good.
That's crazy.
Mere days after being discharged from Georgetown Hospital, as Roland gets ready for bed, he glances into the mirror and shrieks as scratch marks appear across his chest, spelling out the word Louis. Roland's parents, having relatives in St. Louis and at the end of their rope, believe this to be a sign that they could find Roland some support and relief in that area. On March 8th, 1949, the family arrive at the relative's place with all of their belongings with them, hoping against hope that this would be the end to their nightmares. However, the moment Roland lays down for bed that very first night, everything starts up like before. Roland screaming and howling in a voice not his own, his bed slamming up and down as it's shaken by a force not of this world. Roland's cousin, after witnessing all of this, asks her professor, Father Raymond Bishop, to meet with Roland and see if he can help him. Father Bishop agrees and arrives to the house on March 11th with Father William Bowdern. As Roland gets ready for bed that night, Father Bowdern starts reading several prayers, and for over an hour the two priests observe him, but witness no sign of demonic possession. However, the moment the priests step outside of the house to leave, all hell breaks loose, as the shaking of the bed starts up again. A bottle of holy water on the nightstand mysteriously hurls itself across the room. A bookcase moves on its own across the room to block the bedroom door. Hearing the commotion from Roland's bedroom from outside, the priests go back in, and this time they do witness the activity that they were told about. Following church protocol, Father Bowdern contacts Archbishop Joseph Ritter of St. Louis to formally request an exorcism for Roland, but tells them to choose another priest for the job. Father Bowdern knew that he was not qualified for it, he didn't feel like he was in the right place spiritually for it, and he really just wanted nothing to do with doing an exorcism. However, the Archbishop agreed to the exorcism, but specifically requested for Bowdern to perform it. He was simply told, "You have to do this." He was not given another choice. March 16th, 1949, Father William Bowdern arrives at the house to perform the first exorcism of Roland Doe. Father Raymond Bishop and seminary student Walter Holleran volunteered to help assist, knowing if anything went wrong, they too could be victims of possession by the demon they believed inhabited Roland. While the priests were sworn to handle the case with the utmost secrecy, Father Bowdern insists that Father Bishop keep a diary. According to this diary, as Bowdern begins the prayers for the exorcism, the three priests shriek in horror as bloody scratches start suddenly appearing on Roland's body. As the exorcism continues, the priests witness the word "help" appear on Roland's chest as if it's been branded into his skin by a hot iron. They had all been observing the boy's hands the entire time, and there was absolutely no way he could have somehow done this to himself. After almost 9 hours of hostile resistance, Roland collapses into sleep on the bed. However, the demon is far from being banished. After 2 days of exorcism, Roland spends the day after 2 days of exorcisms, Roland spends the day acting like a normal teenage boy for the first time in a long time. His family finally feels like the exorcisms are working, but that evening, when the priests arrive to continue their work, Roland's mood changes entirely and he transforms into something akin to a violent creature, snarling and biting the man holding him still. At one point, Roland starts making vomiting motions and asks the priest to throw open the window so he could purge the demon from his body, screaming, "He's going! He's going!" Father Bowdern leaves the house that night, feeling like the demon was finally cast out. That night, though, at around 2 a.m., however, I added in the though I already written, however, I should have just trusted myself. Wrote. Roland woke up feeling a strange sensation in his stomach and started crying out, "He's coming back! He's coming back!" Father Bowdern was called back at 3:15 a.m. March 20th, 1949, day 5 of the exorcism. Father Walter Halloran reports witnessing Roland's bed levitating up around 8 inches off of the floor before slamming back down again. And he wasn't the only one to see this type of phenomena. Roland's family reportedly invited scientist and mathematician Frank Bubb, who worked on the Manhattan Project, to observe the possessed boy. Bubb reports that he actually saw the nightstand levitate during his visit. As the exorcisms went on, Roland started becoming more and more volatile, and so, in the interest of the safety of the rest of the family living in the house, they decided it might be best to move Roland to a different location. So, on March 23rd, Father Bowdern transferred Roland to the rectory at St. Francis Xavier College Church on the campus of St. Louis University. Roland's continued outbursts eventually attracted the attention of students and passerbys, creating rumors about the campus. Roland also started showing signs of inhuman strength during the exorcisms, one time even breaking free of 3 grown men attempting to hold him down and punching Father Halloran in the face and breaking his nose.
Jeez.
When it was clear that the change of location had made little change in Roland's condition, the priests returned him to his relative's home in the suburbs on March 26th. For the next 5 days, the boy remains suspiciously calm and quiet. However, on the night of March 31st, Roland starts writing out messages and words all over these giant sheets of paper that their uncle had in the house for use in his architect business. The family called the priest over to help them decipher the words that went as follows: "I will stay 10 days, but will return after the 4 days are up. I am the devil himself." On April 1st, after over a dozen exorcisms, Father Bowdern suggests that Roland should be baptized as a Catholic, hoping that it would help move the exorcism along. But as his aunt and uncle were driving Roland to the church for the baptism, Roland goes into one of his fits and starts trying to jump up into the front and grab the wheel, saying the whole time, "You're going to try to baptize me? You're going to try to offer me communion? It's not going to work." His uncle is forced to pull the car over so that they don't wreck. 13-year-old Roland curses and spits as he's dragged into the church rectory for the baptism, during which he continues to fight and kick, acting repulsed by the holy water being used. It's so bad that they decide to just do a shortened version of the baptism just to get it over with. 3 days after the baptism, Father Bowdern makes a radical suggestion. He suggests that Roland should move back to Maryland. Bowdern would go with them and find a hospital or some place where they could continue the exorcism under medical surveillance, due to the fact that Roland's health seemed to just be getting worse as the rituals went on. However, no institution wanted to touch this case with a 10-foot pole, and they could not find a facility to carry this out in. Father Bowdern realizes that there's no choice but to move him back to St. Louis. On April 10th, upon returning to St. Louis, Father Bowdern admitted Roland to the Alexian Brothers Hospital, which is run by an ancient order of Catholic monks. The brothers who ran the hospital were known for taking care of really extreme cases of both physical and mental illness, and had a secure psychiatric facility where Roland could continue his exorcisms in secrecy, another thing that the brothers were known for. However, before his death, an Alexian brother broke his vow of silence to speak about the exorcisms that he witnessed firsthand. Brother Gred Holowinski says that during one of the exorcisms, he witnessed Roland reach up and grab onto the stole of a priest that was performing the exorcism, and said that within a split second, the stole split into 1,000 threads.
Wow.
He says that from where he watched at the foot of the bed, he saw Roland levitate off of the bed, and while he pushed down on his legs with all his might, he could not get the boy to lower even an inch. During the second night of exorcisms at the hospital, Brother Greg watched as a lard decanter in the room was thrown by no one and smashed into 1,000,000 pieces against the wall. On April 13th, a few days before Easter, Father Halloran takes Roland to an outdoor retreat center overlooking the Mississippi River in hopes that the fresh air might help Roland a bit. Along the bluff, there's a path that has different stations of statues depicting the path that Jesus endured on the way to his crucifixion. Roland seemed very interested in the stories of the stations. However, as they approached the 14th station, depicting Jesus being put in the tomb, Roland suddenly goes into a seizing fit and takes off running. Father Halloran runs after him and is able to tackle him to the ground before Roland reaches the edge of the nearby cliff that he had started bolting towards. As Roland's demonic state worsens, Father Bowdern starts showing signs of stress and fatigue. Oozing boils cover the priest's frail, emaciated body, and losing over 40 pounds due to the fasting that he had to perform. To conduct the exorcisms. On the day before Easter, a monk placed a small statue of Saint Michael, the Archangel, in Roland's room. This is important. The day after Easter marks 1 full month of exorcisms for Roland. During the exorcism that night, Roland complains that the religious medals around his neck are burning his skin. But Father Bowdern refuses to remove them, instead forcing a crucifix into Roland's hand, which sends him into convulsions. At that moment, as Roland shakes and screams, Father Bowdern demands to know who's inside of Roland. A deep, masculine voice comes from Roland, saying that it would not leave him until Roland had said a specific word, a word that the demon claimed that Roland would never say. However, in the Exorcist's diary, Roland seems to defy the demon by saying the following sentence: "Satan, Satan, I would seek Michael, and I command you, Satan, and the other devil spirits to leave the body in the name of Dominus immediately. Now. Now. Now." Father Bowdern realizes that Dominus is the word that the demon claimed Roland would never say. Dominus is the Latin word for Lord. Suddenly, Roland erupts, experiencing his most violent convulsions yet. In this state, Roland claimed to have a prophetic vision of himself outside of a cave, standing next to an angel with a flaming sword that he believed to be Saint Michael. He said Saint Michael smiled at him and says the word Dominus. After several minutes of uncontrollable spasms, Roland relaxes and falls still. Roland, in a tone of complete relief, said, "He's gone. It's over." Father Bowdern was skeptical and prayed for a sign that the evil had really left the boy. And suddenly, after finishing his prayer, a massive boom reverberated throughout the building, shaking it. It was so loud that one of the monks actually had thought the boiler had exploded in the building.
Damn.
Father Bowdern knew that this was the sign he was waiting for. Roland stayed in St. Louis for a couple of weeks before returning home to his parents in Maryland. Roland would contact Father Bowdern later on via a letter, where he would tell him just how happy he was to be back in school, and that he had even gotten a new dog. By all accounts, he was doing way better. Despite gathering all of the evidence from the exorcisms and 48 eyewitness sign-offs, the Catholic Church reportedly refuses to confirm or deny Roland Doe was a genuine case of demonic possession. But the priests involved remain 100% certain of demonic involvement for the rest of their days. Roland remained Catholic, eventually marries, and has several children, naming his firstborn son Michael. Later, he became a literal rocket scientist, working with NASA and getting a couple of patents for scientific devices to his name, including for the shielding they use on rockets.
Well, that's fucking cool.
Yeah.
The real-life Roland Doe would live out his days in quiet anonymity and pass away in 2020 at the age of 85.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Long, healthy life. That's awesome.
Yeah. After all that?
And
yeah.
an accomplished one at that?
Isn't that such
That's
an
fucking
insane
awesome.
fucking story?
Yeah.
Like
month-long exorcisms.
Yeah.
Over a month.
No, over a month of exorcisms nearly every day. And I feel for Father Bowder, and like in the show, they were talking about how like one of the things you have to do to perform an exorcism is you have to fast.
That sounds
miserable. And so they couldn't do it every day because he would have starved to death. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I didn't know you had to fast to perform exorcisms.
Yeah, it's one of the it's one of the procedures, I guess, like a show of faith almost.
Okay.
And boy, do you have to fucking have faith.
It don't work if you don't believe.
Yeah, for real. That's what I'm saying. Belief is everything.
Mm-hmm. Ain't you ever seen Fright Night? It don't work if you don't have faith.
So, B, Dalia knows this, but I think you'll find this interesting. So this was a really long documentary. Like, I actually do encourage watching it. It's really interesting, especially because we get to hear from people that we've actually heard from multiple times, like a couple different times on this show. Interviewing for like, you know, just the things in between to help explain why people were doing stuff, is Stephen LaChance from our second story that we ever did of the Union Screaming House.
Yeah.
And Father Vince Lampert.
Really?
Father Lampert.
From our Indiana's Exorcist.
Yeah.
Episode.
Which is my other favorite story.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so he was on there explaining like just different parts to it too. Like, this is why they would do this. This is what this means. Yeah. No, it's insane. It's so crazy to me. Like, that whole story, and it really does just like get going from the start. Like, it did not take long, it felt like, before they were like, we need an exorcism.
So the reason why I wanted to know this is because The Exorcist was actually one of the first, if not my very first, horror movie. Mm-hmm. I was like 11, maybe 10 watching this stuff. Mm-hmm. I don't recommend it to a child that age, to be honest. But that messed with me. It's a good movie. It's a little fucked up.
I've yet to see the movie, but I have read the book. And the book's really good.
I've not read the book. I really should.
The book is really good. But apparently there was some... I didn't include this because I don't know. It's basically kind of hearsay. But apparently there were some rumors that... in Alexian like Brothers Hospital, where the exorcism finally worked, you know, finally, there was like reports of different hauntings and stuff after the exorcism and shit. Yeah. And there's even rumors of a priest who supposedly took the demon into him to get it out of Roland. However, again, just hearsay, don't know, but I don't know if that's just something because that's what happened in The Exorcist, like the movie and book, but there you go. That's what.
Hell yeah.
Like, yeah, it's such an interesting story, though.
I'm moving this.
And, like, yeah, it's fine. It's such an interesting story, though. And the fact that, like, I was thinking about this while I was retelling the story. It's like, there's so many. They give such specific dates. We have names for all the people who were involved. Mm-hmm. Like, it's so well documented. And apparently this diary that they found, like, this is only like a few years old. Like, hold on. This documentary came out in 2021. And so this diary was revealed not long before that, I guess, maybe like a year or two. And so this is all relatively recent information that we have on this.
Hell yeah.
That's nuts.
It's insane, isn't it?
Isn't it?
Yeah, what are your guys' thoughts on this though? Like,
I think I said my thoughts for the most part. It's just crazy. Like, it's what other words are there for it?
Right.
It's intense.
Yeah.
And I never knew that The Exorcist was based off of a true story until I asked him. I was like, "Hey, do you know if the movie The Exorcist is based off of a true story?"
Yeah.
And he was like, "Yeah, well," and I was like, "That," which is so interesting to me, especially because so much of it is different from the movie.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So much of it is. It's so loosely based.
And yet it's still really intense.
Yep.
Like, I feel like I was being kind of like methodical and just like going through the lines or whatever, but slowing down, thinking about it, a lot of that was really fucking intense. Slashing a priest's arm open with a bed spring
from shoulder to wrist, right?
Yeah, he was never the same after that.
No, he wasn't. 100 stitches, I wouldn't be either.
No, for real. And just like experiencing that kind of evil, right? Like,
yep. Coming from a child, it's like, at least that's how it appears, you know. It's not actually the child, obviously.
Right, but still, like, And I feel for the family who they uproot their entire lives just because they're like, this is all we have to go on is this word that was literally slashed into our son's chest.
Yep.
Like, we have nothing else to go on. Nothing else has worked. I do love, they took him to doctors, psychiatrists, psychologists. They tried everything else before going to, like, priests.
And it all started with a Ouija board.
It did start
Surprise.
with... It did, yeah. Oh, yeah.
What were we just saying in the episode? Two
Yesterday.
episodes before this?
It was, it was the episode literally last time where you talked about a Ouija board.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
No. That was B's birthday episode.
You're right, it was 2. You're sorry.
It was 2 episodes ago.
You're right, my bad.
My Ouija board story. Yeah.
No, yeah, it's insane.
Stay the fuck away from Ouija boards, y'all.
Just in case. Like, even if you don't believe him, just in case.
Like, what's the harm of just in case?
If you don't believe him anyway, what's the point in having him, you know?
Right. Literally.
I do follow somebody on TikTok who collects Ouija boards, which I just kind of find funny. Like, all right.
Do they have a pink girly pop glitter one?
Of course they do.
That'd be fun.
I'm pretty sure they have a Scooby-Doo one, too.
Huh.
Oh, my voice is starting to go. Yeah, any other thoughts on this before we get to pictures?
I'm ready
No.
for some pictures.
I love this story. That was crazy.
Oh, yeah.
After doing it, I was like, you know what? This would have made a good Halloween episode if Dahlia hadn't suggested it. But I still, it did well. I think it's fine here. Mm-hmm. So, for the first picture I have today, this is the house that the family moved to in St. Louis. So this is the Exorcist house, like, as it stands today.
Okay.
Yeah?
Yeah.
A lot of houses around here that look just like that.
Yeah, it's
Mm-hmm.
Very
it feels...
unassuming.
Yeah, it feels very specific, and yet it feels like you could see it in any neighborhood, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
This next one is of allegedly of Roland Doe, like as a teenager, like probably around either after. I assume later on in his teenage years after this had taken place, but this is who I believe he is. Like from looking it up, this is like who he is.
Okay.
Let's see. The next one is Reverend. I'm sending it's going to be Reverend Luther Miles. So this is the initial reverend they went to when they were like, hey, at their own church, right? And he's the one who did the experiment with him staying over and the mattress and the chair and all that, which that's crazy. That's insane.
Yeah.
To think about. Like, I don't know how I would feel seeing that. This next one is Father Albert Hughes, and I believe, if I remember correctly, I think he's the one that performed the initial exorcism who got his arm slashed open. So that's who I'm sending now. And this next one, we're just moving right along. All of my pictures are very like, these are the people involved. These are who, these are putting names to faces with this one. For instance, this next one is Georgetown Hospital. This is, at least I believe that is. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, this is Georgetown Hospital, which I'm very sure isn't. I'm sorry. I'm getting switched around right now. I'm pretty sure this is where that first exorcism was performed. So here it is. I'm sitting it now.
Okay.
Yeah, just a building, like, but that's where. Wait, hold on. I gotta make sure real quick. Is that where the original exorcism was performed, or was that? It was not. Well, hold on. Where are we? I'm just gonna look it up. Not word count. That's not what I want. I need find and replace. George. That's not how you spell George. George. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I'm right. All that to say, I was right. That's the one where he was strapped down.
We can cut it out. It's fine.
I'm not gonna do that.
Okay.
I deserve this. So that's where the first exorcism was taking place. This next one is of Father William Bowdern. So he is the guy who he was the second exorcist, the one who did not want the job, which is reminiscent of Father Lampert. Like, you didn't want this job, but
That's stuck with me.
That's why
exactly
you
what
get
I
it.
thought of. Yep.
Yeah. And maybe it's the same mentality. It's like, we don't want somebody who goes in there and who is like,
you're taking this job because you don't want it.
Yeah.
Get in here.
But yeah, so that's William Bowdern. Did you guys get the picture?
Yes.
Okay. This next one is of the Alexian Brothers Hospital, where the final exorcisms were performed and where the demon was finally cast out.
I recognize that one.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know. I've definitely not heard this story before, but it may have been shown to me from something else, or I don't know, but I recognize that one.
The
heavy.
building kind of looks like St. Rita's.
It looks... I will say it's a building, so it looks kind of generic a bit, but that is the building. And then for my final picture, just again, names to faces. This is Father Greg Holowinski. He is the Alexian brother who, before his death, broke the vow of silence. He was in this documentary, so this is who I'm sending now. So he's the one who, he watched the decanter get thrown across the room. He saw Roland levitate and tried to push him back down and could not get him to budge.
The fact that he broke his vow of silence is enough for me to be like, that motherfucker's telling the truth.
Right.
Yep. That's a big deal.
That's a huge fucking deal. Are you kidding me?
Oh, for sure.
The second you said broke his vow of silence, my mind went, what the fuck happened to make him break his vow?
Like,
that's crazy.
Yeah. Oh, and the other thing he witnessed was grabbing onto a priest's stole and it just vaporizing into threads.
Yeah.
That reminds me a lot of in Haunting in Connecticut that we covered a few episodes back for the Halloween episode, how the rosary bead just lifted and fell into beads. Like, just destroyed. No, so, yeah, pretty intense stuff. Any final thoughts on that before we move over to Dahlia's story for her birthday episode?
No.
Dahlia, what rating would you give that from Roland to Doe? What would you give that? How many exorcisms would that give?
How many exorcisms would that give?
How many exorcisms would that take, that story?
How many Roland or exorcisms?
From Roland to Doe, how many exorcisms would you give that one?
This many.
All right. Y'all can't see that, and I'm not going to explain it. You guys are just going to have to imagine in your brains. Okay.
Think about when someone says, I love you this much. That's what she did.
Now picture her arms like growing longer and longer, almost like Freddy Krueger in the first Nightmare on Elm Street. And that's what she gave me.
I never thought I'd be compared to Freddy Krueger in all my life.
You haven't been,
fact,
just your arms.
Me and Freddy Krueger share a birthday.
Like actually the
Krueger
character?
has a birthday?
Or the actor?
Or Robert
character.
Englund. Oh, that's
okay.
Character.
Because that maybe meant Robert Englund.
Was it his birthday or his death date? It's one of the two. One of those dates I share with Freddy Krueger. I'm going to look it up.
Excuse me. But no, I thank you for sharing that with me. It was very interesting.
No, yeah. When you said you wanted to know like the real story behind, The Exorcist, I was like, you know what? That sounds fun as shit. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And we had to cover it at some point. I'm honestly glad we got to cover it so soon. Yeah. All right. On our 25th episode, a quarter of the way to 100. Isn't that wild?
That's crazy.
Well, hun, what have you got for us today?
So, because that was such a long story and because it's my birthday, I am only going to do one story. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of long, kind of short. It was right at that word count cutoff.
Okay.
So this should go pretty fast. I'm just going to get right into it.
Hell yeah.
So, it does come from Reddit. This next allegedly true encounter does. And I've titled this encounter Molly.
Gotta love me some Molly. I mean, what?
Sorry, man. I knew you'd say some shit. So let's get into it. I think one of my old friends was dead. This is a bit of a rant because I just remember a majority of this. I don't remember much of when I was fairly younger than I currently am. 15. This is written by a 15-year-old. So I might be missing some details, but I have been piecing this together from who I met 5 years ago, okay? I remember sometime around February of my 5th grade year, a girl seemed to appear out of nowhere. I didn't have class with her, but she was in the class right next door. There were no doors separating the 5th grade classes from one another, only thin walls. She never really seemed to talk or interact with people, and I rarely saw her myself. She was almost never at school, and I don't think I ever heard the teacher call her name for attendance. She always sat alone at lunch, and the few times she ever sat with other people, usually my friend group, she wouldn't really talk to any of them. The only time that she ever talked to me was when the other people around us were busy with something else or were looking away. I slowly got to know her bit by bit. Her name was Molly, and she had a few brothers. She had brown hair that had always been in a perfectly straight bob cut, and she only ever wore 5 different shirts. The only one I can really remember was a light purple t-shirt with some white details and a cat on the front. She had a few freckles, and her eyes were a pretty brown. She was very shy and wouldn't really say much other than short sentences. Molly loved walking around the outskirts of the playground at recess, but after the whistle blew and we had to go in, she never seemed to line up with the rest of us. Around the time my birthday was coming up, I was handing out invitations, and I really wanted to invite her to get to know her more because she seemed like a nice girl. I saw her when we were outside taking a short break from class when I began talking to her about it. I told her it would be a pool party at the rec center in the next town over because it had a better pool. She told me she would try to make it, but only if her dad would let her. She never gave me her dad's number so I could give it to my mom, yet she told me her dad would call my mom if she could make it. Around this time, some of my friends were approaching me, and she noticed this. She seemed a bit frantic and told me to give her my hand. She put a plastic heart ring she was wearing and placed it in my hand, saying, "If I can't make it to your party, this is my gift to you," before walking off. After she gave me that ring, I didn't take it off for the rest of the year. Some of my friends would ask me why I was wearing it because it was ugly. I would tell them that Molly gave it to me, but they would give me weird looks, yet they never asked more than that about it. The next day I didn't see her, but in my classroom mailbox she left a little pink bear and a torn up cake squishy with a note reading something along the lines of, "Happy birthday, this is the rest of my gift to you." She never made it to my party, nor did my mom ever get a call. After that, I didn't see her again until a few weeks before school ended. Our school was having us take a tour of the middle schools we chose to go to. Before I saw she was sitting alone in the section with all the teachers. Sorry, this is written, like I said, by a 15-year-old here.
Yeah.
So it was a section all the teachers said were empty, but she was sitting in it. Okay.
Yeah.
I asked her what school she was going to, and she simply replied with Garden of the Gods. After that, because I wanted to stay in touch with her, I asked her where she lived so I could visit her sometime. She described the old abandoned house on one of the outer streets of my neighborhood that no one had lived in years. I told her that I would try to visit sometime that week with my mom to make sure it was the right house. Molly nodded and then walked off. At the end of the week, me and my mom visited the old house. Molly wasn't there. Neither was any brothers or her dad. No one was in that house because, like I said, it was abandoned and never sold again after the last people to move in left right after hearing about what happened to the man in the house and how he died. After the interaction with her, I never saw her again. Not even at the end of the year assembly we were all required to go to for bonding time. When the teachers were showing pictures of everyone who was in the current 5th grade class, Molly was never brought up, nor did she make an appearance in the yearbook as far as I remember. I would check, but I don't have my yearbook anymore. After that, my mom and friends pestered me more and more about my ring until I eventually stopped wearing it. I still have it, but I repainted it after all the silver paint had came off of it. I always told them it was a gift from Molly, but they had no idea who I was talking about, so I stopped bringing her up until a little bit ago with my mom. She told me she never remembered the girl I was talking about, and that she only remembered that I was looking for someone. I told her that was crazy because she was the one that gave me the ring and stuffy, but nothing ever clicked. Then we talked more about the house Molly told me she lived in, and my mom told me the last owners tried to sell it as quickly as possible because of the man who died there. But no one was ever moved back in it. That's why the grass was never cut, and it looked like it was starting to fall apart. Eventually, we started to consider the idea that Molly was a ghost. It was just strange that I got a physical gift from her, but it wasn't impossible, especially because of other incidents with spirits we'd had. I still have no idea what happened to Molly or how she really was, but I really do think she was simply a ghost and that's why no one remembered her. I must have been the only one who could see her. I have met plenty of other ghosts, but she is the first and only spirit to give me a physical gift. And don't get me wrong, I normally don't mind meeting ghosts. I just wish I knew she was one before I told people that I did about her.
What do you mean you don't normally mind meeting ghosts?
I don't know.
That?
And what the fuck happened in the house? How
I
you
don't
gonna
know.
keep mentioning dude in the house and then not tell us what the fuck happened to dude
I
in
don't
the
know.
house?
And
I'm only assuming
unfortunately-
that they also don't know, you know?
Wouldn't you be able to look it up?
Yeah.
I don't know where she lives. She's
I
got
don't
the
know.
address. She could...
There weren't comments to look through to tell you guys about it. I'm sorry.
Damn.
Yeah, I
you
know.
keep an eye on that one.
So this was
Okay.
How old
the
is it?
more at first. So when it first was started being told,
Not very old at all. Sorry.
okay, when it first started being told, my first thought was this is either an actual child spirit or what I believed at first even more is a really sad kid who wants a friend
Yep.
who maybe doesn't get along with like other people or whatever. However, as you start going and people don't really know who she is, like she apparently lives in this house that like nobody's supposed to live in. I'm like, okay, could be ghost. Could be ghost more. Leaning more towards ghost at this point. Either way, kind of sad.
It could also be like a child of neglect who had to move because of a bad situation really
Could
fast.
be,
Didn't know
yeah.
where she actually lived. Was confused. You know.
Very much
It could have been
so.
a lot of things, but I mean,
It reminds me of
It's a
that
lot.
story with the girl who let the girl borrow her crayons.
yep.
And then never got her crayons back.
Are you talking about
Fucking ghost stole my crayons.
Are you talking about the infamous story Crayons?
Yeah.
And there's B again saying crayons.
Crayons. Like the berry?
So I do have a picture here.
Sure.
And let me pull it up. So it's just a picture of a heart ring with silver, like in the story. I'm not sure if it's anything like the ring or if it even like closely resembles it.
I will say that was a really cute detail. Whether it's a ghost or whether it's a like legitimate like child, that was really cute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that is actually not what I originally pictured for the ring. I pictured like one of those cupcake rings.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
picturing.
Yeah, I was having trouble finding a freaking picture of it, so I just got with like a
That's fair.
adjustable ring.
Yeah.
Like kids wear too. It's plastic. It's adjustable. So, I mean, it's a weird plastic, but it's a plastic.
It's plastic.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what to make of that one. It could go either way, but either way, it's a little bit cute, a little bit sad, you know?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Hopefully, it was a ghost.
Hopefully it was a ghost. I agree. I agree with that. Well, B, what special little wholesome story do you have for Dalia's birthday today?
I have a story that I think they're really going to like. But I would like to give a slight trigger warning for mention of suicidal ideation.
Sure.
It comes and goes so fast, you may not even notice it, but I just want to throw that out there just in case.
Okay.
Okay. This story is titled, "This Teacher Saved Me in My Darkest Moments and Never Knew." I hope this fits here. In high school, I had a teacher. Let's call her Jay. Jay would be the coolest teacher by far. She would check in on you if you looked down or if you were just passing by in the hall. She initiated crafts for tons of creative kids in school. Most importantly, Jay was my English teacher. I was always scared to share any of my stories for fear of being judged or being seen as not clever enough. Jay changed this all. She encouraged me to share my work even if it was just with her. She single-handedly grew my confidence in my work, and I grew to love writing. After one school year ended, and it was early midsummer, I emailed her out of the blue to share a story I thought we would like, and to talk about an author we both like and how that author was launching a new work. I started out with the classic intro and a sorry about emailing her school email in the summer. It went unread for about a month or so. I was okay with this as it was her summer too, and I just wanted to share my work. Then, one night, as I was contemplating not being here anymore, as I struggled, and it got worse around this time, I really felt like no one cared. I received an email. It was from Jay. She apologized for not seeing my email earlier and commented on the author for a bit. She then said she loved my work and added some comments to the document I had sent to make it easier to read. She ended it by giving me her personal email and said I should feel free to email her any works I continue to make. I burst into tears, and that little gesture made me feel as though it was worth sticking around for a little bit longer. And I'm so glad that I did. I'm receiving help, have friends who get me and my dark humor, and I'm proud to be a father to some very nice pups. I'm continuing to write to this day, and I'm working on longer content, and who knows, maybe one day I'll publish it. I'm forever grateful to her and her extra step for all the kids she saw. I still see her from time to time. I think I'll share the story with her. She deserves to know how much of an impact she makes in the darkest of times. Just a little love that sparked a thrill for expression.
You know, I think we've said it on here before, a good teacher really just, it makes a difference. Like, just one act of, like, reaching out, or, like, it doesn't have to be anything big, but just, like, spending a second to be like, yeah, I really liked your thing. This, like,
yeah.
Sometimes that's all kids have is the teacher.
Yeah.
Yes.
You don't know. You never know what a child has going on in their home. That's why you got to make every moment count when you are a teacher.
Mm-hmm.
Just sometimes you are the light in their life.
Mm-hmm. And like,
so
4 in a row, 4 in a row, 4 in a row.
Fuck you. I'm not crying.
Two for me.
I'm not crying.
it sounded like
I'm tearing up a little bit.
I was tearing up a little bit too, but like, yeah. And writing is such a hard thing to do.
Yes.
So it's so nice that he's still writing.
You're your biggest fucking critic, especially as a writer. And so having that, someone that you trust, someone that you love, to be cheering you on, like, yeah, this is great. Here's some constructive criticism.
Mm-hmm.
Keep rocking. Man, that shit is fucking awesome.
Mm-hmm.
It's great.
No, yeah, those
Nazara, she has a teacher like that right now. Her teacher is one of those teachers, and it is so good for her. And I'm so happy.
Hell yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm so glad.
Yep. Y'all ready for pictures?
I am ready for pictures.
Well, picture. I have one picture. Yeah. I am presenting you with a picture of my favorite poet and writer, Shane Koyczan.
I love that man, it looks like.
Yes,
I've never heard of him before, but just by this vibe alone, yeah.
He's the guy that wrote To This Day.
Is that poem?
The anti-bullying spoken word poem. This talk about pork chops and karate chops.
Yeah.
He wrote that. That's by him. He is absolutely, without a doubt, my favorite poet and writer. And many of his spoken word poems are very meaningful to me. So it felt appropriate to
That's awesome.
share that.
Apparently To This Day got an animated short in 2013.
Sure did.
That's
If
cool.
you have the chance to watch it, do it. I took a speech class when we were in high school with Mr. Hart.
I remember Mr. Hart.
Yep, with Mr. Hart. And at the end of our class, we had to do a famous memorized speech. That was like our big project. You had to have a famous speech, obviously, and it had to be so many words. You had to memorize the whole thing and then present the speech in front of the class.
Mm-hmm.
He let me pick that as my speech.
Yeah.
Because it was so popular at the time. The animated short had already come out. It was pretty well known.
Okay.
But it was so long I had to shorten it. So if we went above so many words, we got extra credit, but there was still a cutoff for time purposes. Mm-hmm. I still had to cut some of it out.
Damn.
But yeah, if you get a chance, listen to it, watch it. My favorite poem by him is Instructions for a Bad Day.
Okay.
I listen to that every single time.
Didn't you read us that?
I don't think I read it to you, but I've definitely talked about it. I talk about it a lot.
Okay.
That one is absolutely my favorite. Help Wanted is right there with it, and then To This Day. All of them are great. But those three I could not recommend enough. And you can go listen to them, speak them on YouTube.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Love that.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I would say this has been a really good recording session.
I would say so.
I really
too.
enjoyed this. Mm-hmm. We had some really good special episodes, and the first episode we record next time To you guys, it'll seem like nothing. It'll be just next week. It'll be my birthday episode, which I still have no idea what I'm doing for my birthday. So, like...
I keep asking him what he wants. He can't tell me.
I'm talking about
Deviled
for, like,
eggs.
the story.
That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I don't know.
I asked him what he wants me to cover, and he goes, I don't know. Let's worry about that next session.
You know what? I do know what I want to hear from.
Do you want to keep it a secret?
No. I want to tell you right here and now what I want to hear.
Keep me accountable. Okay.
Keep you accountable. And again, you can deviate from this. You can take out this. I want to see if you can get me a couple mimic stories. Cause I love me a good mimic or doppelganger story. Them shits scare the piss out of me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But as far as what I'm covering, I don't know yet. I'll find out, I'm sure. I'll just start.
It's your birthday. You do whatever the fuck you want.
That's fair. I'll start. What's the word? What am I?
The Blair Witch Project.
The entirety of the Blair Witch
Yep,
Project.
the entirety of it in one go.
I'll start transposing or whatever different stories, and I'll just pick one and see like this will work, you know.
Hell yeah.
Or if something comes to me, I'll do that one. But as of right now,
You continue. Sorry.
No, I'm about to end us off. What you got?
No, you're not. It's my birthday.
You're right.
Ooh.
You know, you make a very valid point.
Sit down, Brandon.
I was gonna
I
say
am
B
already.
got to lead off her birthday. You're gonna obviously lead off your birthday. Why can't I lead off my birthday?
You know what? I just forgot that we did that.
You forgot that it's my birthday.
That's not what I said. That is not what I said.
Wow. First birthday married, and he already forgot.
Damn.
Would you hush? Don't you have a Lollipop Guild to lead? You've been upgraded to leader just for this occasion. Now get going. It was your birthday last week.
Damn. You don't have to start bullying her just because you're bullying me.
I wasn't bullying you. You guys were bullying me.
Forgetting my birthday is bullying.
I
Just
didn't forget your
remember
birthday.
who's signing your marriage license, bud.
Hey, that involves me too.
Get your man. Get your man.
Okay, guys. So you can find us on our socials. We have a lot of. There we go. There's the brain. Instagram, Facebook, Blue Sky. What else do we have? YouTube. Not Twitter because
Fuck Twitter.
TikTok.
Thank you. You can email us your true encounters or a wholesome story at TPIBOTE@outlook.com. If it is a wholesome encounter, please put B in the subject line. That's B with 2 E's. And then if it is a terrifying true encounter, please put my name in there. That's Dalia with no H. And yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and send this off. We ready?
Yeah.
All right. As always, this podcast was based on true events.